When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy updating two cases. First, Jussie Smollett, the Empire star, the victim of that alleged attack a couple of weeks ago. Or probably not even a couple of weeks ago. It just seems like a couple of weeks, I guess. Rafer Weigel over at Fox Chicago reporting yesterday that Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson says Smollett is still being treated as the victim in the case, but he would be held accountable if the investigation reveals he made a false police report.
I got to tell you, kudos to Rafer Weigel, Tim Weigel's son.
He's been on it. Yeah,
he has been on it. He's the one that reported that despite all that happened, there's surveillance video of him walking into his apartment after the attack with his Subway sandwich still intact. Now, who gets attacked? And I'm like, oh, wait, I got to go get that Subway sandwich.
There's additional reporting that police were preparing for possible interrogations, but did not say of whom. Also, investigators working to identify the source of the rope that Smollett said was tied around his neck in a noose-like fashion during the attack. You know, the FBI can trace the rope, the nature of the rope to points of sale, and so investigators are apparently trying to identify the both the manufacturer and perhaps the retailer of the rope and obtain any video that may indicate who purchased said rope. So we'll see. We'll see on the Smollett case. But there's another possible false police report case, and this is against Alderman Proco, don't call me Gropo, Joe Moreno. Scumbag, this guy. Human garbage, this guy. Before we even get to the latest case, let me walk you down memory lane. Not just working with Tiny Dancer to try and keep Chick-fil-A out of Chicago because Chick-fil-A doesn't represent Chicago values.
Oh, my God.
Proco Joe Moreno was echoing that sentiment. Also, this story, shaking down the owner of the building that used to house Doubledore, that used to rent to the Doubledore nightclub music joint, after Doubledore was evicted by that building owner for failure to pay rent. This was reported on. We discussed it at the time. We brought in the watchdog organization that was investigating this case. And subsequently, there's been a federal civil suit filed against Proco Joe by the building owner. But just to, again, to give you a sense of who we're talking about and the feudal system under which Chicago operates.
Threatened by a Chicago alderman. A businessman says it happened to him. Their argument was caught on cell phone video, and what the alderman said is raising questions about his power and whether he went too far. 2 investigator Dave Savini reports.
Right now, I don't trust you. I don't trust your word. I don't think you're a man.
Strong words from a Chicago alderman to a property owner in his ward.
Point to my face. I can.
That's First Ward Alderman Proco Joe Moreno with Brian Strauss, owner of this building, at the corner of Milwaukee and Damon, which housed historic music venue Doubledore for 2 decades, until Strauss evicted them in February.
Right off the bat, he's screaming obscenities.
Strauss said this video was taken the day of the eviction. The alderman knew he was being recorded.
I'm upset. This is a tragedy.
It's part of life.
Right. And part of life is also that you're not going to have a tenant in here for 3 years.
The fight reportedly stems from Moreno wanting to keep the Doubledore, a campaign donor, in this building.
I felt that he was intimidating me and that he was threatening me.
Strauss said the alderman even tried to convince him at a city hall meeting to sell the building to Doubledore for millions less than it's worth. Strauss said no.
You are not going to get a dime out of this building.
While Strauss fought in court to vacate Doubledore's lease, Moreno introduced this city ordinance to change the building zoning, called down zoning, restricting the type of commercial and residential renters he can sign.
When the leases are up there, since there's a down zoning, you can't sign new leases for your tenants. It's going to be an empty building with no income for you or your family. End of conversation.
How about that? How about that?
He's flexing his muscles.
It's a little bit more than that. That's thugocracy. That is that's illegal, by the way. And he's got Proco Joe Moreno on video, audio, telling you that if you don't do what I say at the price point I determine for my campaign donor, the Double Door proprietors, I'm ending your property. I'm eliminating the market value of your property, or certainly greatly diminishing it. That's called extortion. That's a crime. And yet Proco Joe Moreno still walking around.
Well, he thinks he's above the law.
Creating other or committing other possible crimes. He reported his car stolen a month ago. CBS 2, Dana Kozlov reporting.
Rob, First Ward Alderman Proco Joe Moreno first reported his 2016 Audi stolen a month ago. Chicago police confirm a woman was spotted driving it Sunday and is now facing charges, but not for a stolen vehicle. Alderman Moreno confirmed this is the woman cited for having his car. Chicago police say 35-year-old Lilia Rabar was charged with criminal trespass to the Audi after she was seen driving it yesterday, a misdemeanor, a month after he reported it stolen. The alderman told police his car was taken from the 1300 block of North Levitt January 4th. It's not clear where police spotted his car Sunday when they cited Rabar. I asked the alderman tonight what happened. He chalked it all up to a misunderstanding.
The car is not crashed. The car is in perfect condition. She's a friend of mine that we dated for a while. She's a single mom. I was trying to help out. She was down on her luck and needed a car. That's end of conversation. It's political season, and I get it. You throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. This is something that is absolutely 100% false.
Okay, and you weren't trying to falsify a police report?
Absolutely not. I did exactly what I was supposed to do.
No, what he was trying to do was
Rabar is now facing that misdemeanor. A police department spokesperson tonight says she was charged with criminal trespass to a vehicle instead of auto theft, a felony, because police can't prove she was the one who initially took the car, only that she was in it without permission when they found it.
What's it called? It's called insurance fraud. You give somebody something, they're like, well, I need a car, so I'll say it got stolen, so my insurance company can replace my vehicle.
Possibly, if he filed an insurance claim. We don't know that. But here's what we do know. By the way, did you notice? End of conversation.
Yeah, he's a big bully.
That's the same thing he said to the building owner he was extorting. Yeah. End of conversation. This conversation's over.
No, this conversation is not over.
Here's the thing. If he filed a police report, saying it was stolen, then he says to Dana Kozlov, she's a friend, dated for a while, she's a single mom, down on her luck. I was trying to help her. Well, if you were trying to help her, that means you gave her your car.
Right, and this is the thing. So Channel 9 has text messages between this woman, Lily, and Proco Joe. When and where do you want to pick it up? This is Proco Joe. I can come now to where you are. Meet me at my house at 11. You can have my car. Can you get me an Uber, please, at 10:30 to bring me to your house? Thanks so much. Yes, just tell me when you're ready. And then there were some more text messages, and he says, don't smoke in my car. And then she says, baby, I'm with, and something redacted because it's gross.
And do we have the time date stamps on these?
We don't, but this is before he gave her car a month ago.
But this is proximate. I mean, to when he reports the car stolen.
Cool. Can we have dinner tomorrow? Yes, please. And then there's some gross emoji. And then here it is. They're talking back, and I don't know what this timestamp says. Hi, hope you're feeling well. And then she sends a picture of her, a selfie where she's scantily dressed. How is your day, baby? And he said, better now. You look fantastic. Just need to get through this election, and then I want you.
That's great banter.
Hey, baby. Glad you're good. And then, ready for this? Right before, I need my car back ASAP. It's my car. Tell them to call me ASAP, and I'll explain all of this.
Okay.
Because she says to him, I got pulled over by police. They reported that your car was stolen.
What happened to the hey baby?
Is this not your car? Will you give me the so I can't read that. I got in huge trouble. Please call them and get my stuff back from what was inside the car. And then he said, I need my car back ASAP. And that was the end of their text messaging. So she knows that she's backed into a corner and she's fighting because he gave her this car and then she gets pulled over by police on Sunday.
So
he's got to go to jail.
She ostensibly shouldn't be charged with a crime.
No,
and
not at all.
When Moreno says this is political, I don't know how it's political, and he says, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. You reported a car stolen that you voluntarily gave some girl you were dating. That's not doing what you were supposed to do.
That's filing a false police report.
That's a crime.
Yep, that's a crime.
So can somebody explain to me why Proco Joe hasn't been arrested yet? I mean, for anything. Extorting a private property owner in his ward, filing a false police report, general thuggery.
Promising if you go out to dinner with him, he'll help your son get into a selective enrollment high school.
Well, that's not a crime. That's just being unseemly.
No, that's not a crime, but that's just, well, it speaks to his character. I mean, he thinks he can
lack
grab
thereof.
any woman anywhere he wants and do whatever he wants. Well, you know what?
Well,
Time's up.
Well, he's a smooth talker. You heard the hey, baby.
Oh my God.
Hey, baby, I want you.
After this election stuff's over, I'm going to come and get you. Exclamation point emoji that's inappropriate to describe over the air.
I mean, we're only flesh and blood. Who can resist the Shakespearean overtures of one Proco Joe Moreno?
And have you seen this single mom, this Lily Haber?
I saw the photo that was posted.
Yeah, she's good looking.
She can do better. I hope she knows that now. Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. I find it interesting that for quid pro quo Joe Moreno, that for the left especially, evidence of current corruption is way, way less important. In fact, insignificant compared to, say, I don't know, like 40-year-old Halloween pictures. I think once I dressed up in third or fourth grade as Zorro, so I'm wondering if somebody has a picture of that. Gosh, I don't know who I've offended. Probably Zorro is bad now.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. Mike on the north side.
Hey, good morning. I'm more upset at the Scum Times for endorsing this guy and these so-called prosecutors. Lisa Madigan, Kwame Raoul, Crimesha Fox. How come they never went after this guy when he tried extorting a building? Public corruption. They did nothing. They let this guy operate. They condoned it. Well, and Amy, I never told you this before, but I'm proud of you for not selling out to the machine to help your kid out. But just remember, while your kid is working hard, putting himself through college and that, these other kids, they're the ones that are taken away in an ambulance from Lollapalooza for ODing because they weren't raised right.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it was a hard decision to make. It was really awful. I'm not going to sugarcoat this at all. Because you want to help your kid and you want to do what you can so that they could get into a high school where they could succeed. Because we have such a messed up system in Chicago and I didn't do it. And I mean, I just didn't do it. I couldn't do it. And my son knows because I talked to him about it. And he's doing well at Amundsen and he loves it there and he's getting straight A's. So I'm sorry.
Well, as Mike said, you did the right thing. And this is exactly what political thugs do to people. Piece of human garbage, Proco Joe Moreno, and all those politicians you love in Chicago that you and your friends support. Not you listening to this show mainly, but your friends support, the Kim Foxes that let this go on. All the high-minded journalists at the Sun-Times and elsewhere that flack for the thugs like Proco Joe Moreno. Remember this.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.